Hey guys, bjthebrave here, back with a new Szenari guide. We did do a Sabotage Szenari guide when it first came out, but I feel like it's worth doing an update because the deck we're going to look at today is pretty much S tier. It's pretty much one of the best decks in the game, so yeah, feel like I should update that and share with you guys what we've got. Alright, let's take a look at the deck. So basically what we are doing here is making very good use of the Sabotage ability. I have got level 40 on the Forge, which means I can make use of the free Sabotage zero cost defense spell as well. So we can basically use that in really good conjunction with something like Underground Network, making it obviously cost one more for them to use. So we do run 2 copies of this because we're really going after those sabotages. What else have we got that gives sabotage? We've got the double cut them off. In the 2 drop slots we've got everything with the backstabs. We've got the Clandestine Operation to cycle as well. We've also got the Neophyte Specialist, so all giving sabotage to our opponent's hand. In the 3 drops we've got the Biophagus, which does as well. We do run the Locus as the other 3 drop just because this helps kind of slow our opponent down. Generally don't want to be necessarily attacking face if we don't need to, so that gives us a chance to slow the opponent down. Now, one of the interesting cards in this deck, and I sort of had it played against me, is the Acolyte Specialist. And I say it's interesting because often these ambush cards don't make it into the deck, but this actually does. And I actually think this card's not bad. It synergizes nicely with what we're trying to do, which is giving sabotage. And because we run the double Genestealer Familiar, it gives us another target essentially for that card. So obviously if we can just play this out on 4, but obviously if we can flank with it as well, then we're doing 5 damage on flank, and we're also putting the sabotage in our opponent's hand. And not to mention it also comes with 2 blast, which is actually pretty good right now, particularly as we're seeing a lot more like go wide decks from Astra Militarum and things like that. So that card is quite good, and we also have of course the new Atalan Leader, which I think is a very important flanking card now in the GSC. Not to mention it can kind of trigger our ambush, right? So you can play that with the card we just talked about, for example, and it will trigger the sabotage. Then what else do we have? Trap Sprung is obviously our win con because we're putting all of the sabotage in our opponent's hand, and we do this, and we can do 18 to 21 damage quite consistently, to be honest. It's very, very good. Clamavus is it makes it in, it slows the opponent down. It's a little bit like, I always thought this card's a little bit pricey, but then again its talent is very, very good if it does survive, right? So for 1 energy we can keep putting in sabotage cards. See, we have the Sanctus to get rid of the big stuff, good combination with the Genestealer Familiar. We got the Ridgerunners because again flank and sabotage. So really it's just almost everything in the deck's giving sabotage. We have the Reductus Saboteur because it's one of the best cards in the faction, and it gives us that alternative win con. We are running quite a lot of stratagems here, right? So quite a lot of ammunition there for this guy, and of course you've got things like the new Atalan Leader, which can kind of trigger his bombs, as can things like Backstab as well. And then we have, last but not least, we have the Telepathic Domination to steal his big stuff, and the Patriarch. And often we can get the Patriarch early. We can play it with ambush, perfect ambush, so it can't be killed before the ambush goes off. Or we can play it with the Genestealer Familiar to flank. So that is the deck. Let's just take a quick look at a couple of games. Actually, we'll take a look at one, and then we'll dive into a few live ones. Alright, so we have got Denkla, so you can see with this hand here. I did consider switching back one of the Clandestine Operations, but actually this is just a really good hand because we can kind of play 2 of the 2 drops on turn 4 if we need to, if we haven't got our a target for our Warlord power.
March forward for the Imperium!
You are but another tyrant, and we have risen to overthrow you.
I do my duty without hesitation.
Poison Supplies is just a real thorn in their side. They really can't sort of ignore those things because it's just what they're trying to do is put lots of to the ground infantry out, and yeah, it just hurts them so badly. So you can really force them to play reactive. Now this time we play a specialist.
None can deny the Star Children's deliverance.
By putting a body down, it kind of like needs to attack as well, right? So he's not going to use his duty ability. And there we go. Poison supply's doing its thing. Now we thought about the backstab, but in the end we just went with the outrider and just developed the specialist. The Warlord talent obviously giving us that free sabotage card, and the specialist putting a second one in as well.
None can deny the Star
And more
Children's
poison
deliverance.
supplies. Oh, puts him down to 4. Now, it was actually possible this turn to get the Patriarch out, right? We could have used our poison supplies here, but pilfered supplies, and that would have mean we could have played the Patriarch. Instead, we kind of set it up for next turn instead. So he decides to take the turn to clear all these 2-drop sabotages out, and as he can, on one left in his hand. Obviously means the Patriarch's a little bit more expensive. As we draw on the underground network, we decide we're going to go with that this turn. More poison supplies. Okay, so he drops the Lehman Russ and basically decides he's going to ignore the now expensive stuff. Good news for us, that means he has quite a big hand. This is like the turn to really develop the Patriarch. And so obviously we've got the Genestealer Familiar, so we can flank this out, and just to salt into the wound we can perfect ambush him as well, just to mean he doesn't even take any damage. And our opponent just, I think, is probably having enough, has enough at that point. Realises he can't do anything to the invulnerable Patriarch. Calls it a day. Right, let's play a couple of games. I think one of the biggest things is deciding whether you go for the slow play or the tempo play. So like the underground network is an example of what I mean by the slow play. But if we're playing against like aggro Eldar and things, then we need things like the Locus and the Biophagus and stuff. Compete for tempo. Okay, so clear out his hand. Gonna drop the Locus now, unless we get the Biophagus.
Your fate is sealed.
I'm actually sure why I attacked there. Got the more slow play hand, so. think we're going to probably go the underground network supplies here. Actually, we won't. Instead, we'll do this.
Can deny the Star Children's deliverance.
I think we will actually put this in now, so then he can't use his Warlord power. Yeah, give him a full hand as well, so now he can't do that.
Heed the call of the stars.
Oh no, he's running this. Okay, this was a mistake giving him all these cult propagandas then.
The day of ascension approaches.
Okay, so he wants to clear out the hand again. Milling a lot of cards at the minute. Probably won't clear that one out, I'd imagine.
The day of ascension approaches.
Okay.
Heed the call of the stars.
At this point, the cult propaganda's not even giving him anything.
Be ready for anything and prepare to strike. Forward! Let's earn our divine reward.
So let's take a look at this. He's got 9 in hand, right? We do this. Should mean that we put the cult guy in, and yeah, he's hands full again.
The day of ascension approaches.
The trap is set. Our moment draws near. Fine. Let's earn our divine reward.
Okay, losing the Patriarch wasn't fun. Problem is, if he's got Trap Sprung, he's going to beat us to it here. Yeah, he wins. Oh, he doesn't have it.
Your fate is sealed.
I mean, we milled so many of his cards. I wonder if we actually managed to mill Trap Sprung. Oh, go on, be the Patriarch.
We are in position.
GG.
We withdraw, but our
Very good chance
uprising
that we actually
isn't
did
over.
manage to mill his Patriarch there. So do expect, if you play this deck, quite a few of these kind of sabotage mirrors. It's not the most fun, gotta be honest, but definitely gonna see it. Pretty much always take preferred supplies with this. Pilfered supplies, whatever it's called.
With fury in our hearts, we will never falter.
Ride now, brethren, and overrun those who once shackled us.
So against Ursula, we're probably going to play Locus on 3 rather than cut them off, right? Now, that said, he might actually obviously get rid of this. And if he does, which he does. But I think I'm actually still going to go ahead and play the Locus, because I mean both these players are like a deterrent to him developing. May well even play a recon operations. No, good.
One shot should do it.
Okay, so what we're gonna do here. Clear this out. Clear this out. Yeah, we'll just pop even more pressure on with the supplies. Poisonous supplies, minute. You've got the cheaper troops, but do you really want to develop them when you've got those that poison in your hand? Poison is such a problem, right? To guard. Yeah.
No mercy. Bring them down.
Speed is our weapon. Let us move.
I think what I'm actually going to do here. I'm actually just going to do that. We even want to put this in as well. Make him mill some cards. Done that one first, buddy.
Be ready for anything and prepare to strike. None can deny the Star Children's deliverance.
More pressure. That's what this deck does. It just really suffocates your opponent. They want to play their game plan, they can't. And by trying to clear out the sabotage, it's just falling further behind on value. And, I mean, we've not even been able to make them more expensive as well, so. Next turn we can Acolyte, Locus and Familiar.
New orders in from command.
Prepare for immediate deployment.
Your fate is sealed. Your doom already walks among you.
Okay. This is just what was he got in here? He's got okay, jam communications. He's gonna lead with that. I think he'll ignore this one. I think this is just a. Okay, so just gonna pin to destroy that. It's a good trade on it. Nice. Get the armor buff right.
The Grizzle Pit and I have created such wonders to fuel our ascension.
So if we do this. That worked quite well. He might actually now be like, oh, he's used Trap Sprung, I don't need to worry about clearing his things. Second one. Be funny. Just has to get rid of the poison supplies. It's just such an MVP in this matchup.
One shot should do it.
Okay, that worked out well. Oh. Oh boy. Got Lehman Russ here as he.
Cadia stands. Extra.
Okay. We use this to clear this out. Heal this for the win. GG. Made it pretty close. Nice. Alright guys, so what we have got here is definitely a very solid meta tier 1 S tier deck, right? So if you want to just play the kind of Sabotage Genestealer deck, I think this is very good right now. I think I would probably slightly prefer Zen in a pure Sabotage deck over Sappha, purely because I think the threat of Zen's hero power is really good, especially when you've got a lot of Astra Militarum, a lot of 3 health units knocking about. So yeah, I just think that you don't miss the kind of card draw that you get from Sappha with this deck, because pretty much everything is able to put Sabotage in your opponent's hand pretty much every turn. So yeah, super powerful deck. We are missing things like the Nexus, which is interesting. So if you were looking at like flex spots, you could definitely put a Nexus in here. There's quite a lot of Sabotage and spells and stuff, so Nexus would work well in here as well. But honestly, other than that, I think it's a pretty well polished deck, to be honest. I wouldn't want to change too much. I think this is pretty solid. So let me know how you get on ladder. Appreciate all the support, guys. Like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. If you enjoyed this video, then check out this one.